Hello everyone, my name is Anthony. We're back with another video for TonyAnima Projects. Back with the Bf 109 here on Blender. That's right. Here with the aircraft in its current version. With this majestic appearance, as you can see now. After the last video I did some adjustments on the flaps from the radiator, the flaps on the wings, small adjustments on the landing gear, on the wings. I duplicated to have some idea what it would be looking like based on these images I found on the internet, especially on blueprints and some base images of the Bf 109, famous German aircraft from World War II. And for today, I'm going to do something very different, based on something like some tutorials on YouTube of Blender timelapse. This one would be a tutorial on how to rig an aircraft. In this case, we're going to rig the Bf 109. Just a small attention on the Bf. Just a small look on the Bf 109, just to make sure of it. Yeah, pretty sure I did it. But I'm going to make some small adjustments on the balance mass from the ailerons. Just a small adjustment here. Alright. Now, let me take a small look at it again. Fortunately, sometimes the images that I found out on Wikipedia may look a little bit off when I try my best to fit it in 3D programs like Blender. But let's not go into that detail. For this video, I'm going to do a tutorial on how to rig an aircraft, similar to what I did for my P-51 Mustang, Spitfire, and the P-38 Lightning. So today we're going to do on the lazy way. Why lazy way? The lazy way is appending the armature from one of my projects. In this case, I'm going to do from the Spitfire and the P-51 Mustang. Why the P-51 Mustang and why the Spitfire? When you can do simply go to Shift A and go simply armature. Well, on the lazy way, when you have the armature made and you have that sureness. Sorry for my English. For my pretty certain that you have that armature ready for almost all aircraft, especially single-engine aircraft, instead of twin-bone engines like the P-38 Lightning. For this case, single-engine aircrafts like the Bf 109, P-51 Mustang, Hawker Hurricane, Spitfire, Leviathe 9, and so go on. You don't have too much differences in aerodynamic aspects. Well, enough of that. Let's go to the important thing. So I'm going to select cursor to select it on the main fuselage. We go on files and we go append. Then I'll go to the P-51 Mustang on object, and then armature, P-51 armature. Then there you have it. This is the armature I did for the P-51 Mustang. I'm going to move it to according of what it should be like. It may look a little bit big, but I can adjust it by extruding the Armature to fit with the aircraft. Right? But in case you want to make your own armature, then you go on Shift A and Armature. Then it creates a second bone, like this one. But like I said, since I'm going to use lazy way, then we go for this one. And now I'll append. Now let's go for the Spitfire. Go on Object, and we go Spitfire Armature and append it. This one looks a little bit small compared to the P-51 Mustang, but we can scale it. Just a small adjustments, and there you go. Well, for this tutorial, I'm going to hide this one, and we go hide the references. For this video, I'm going to pick the armature from the Spitfire and make the rigging from each bone to a specific part of the aircraft. So this for now, my friends, we're going edit mode, and we go select each part of the each bone, and adjust it according to the aircraft. No, don't do this. In case you're in doubt which bone is, you can go on this option, bone properties. Then you will be sure which bone will go, for the aircraft. In case you are starting with armored rigging aircraft, vehicles, 3D characters, or even firearms, you must be sure. Well, in case for vehicles, aircraft, and 3D characters, you need two main bones, the main one and the base. The base for, in case you want to make a small animation, you're going to need this in order to spare this one. Like for example, use this bone instead of this one for place it over a Bezier path, and you have this bone to adjust the rotations and pretty much rotations. Sorry for if I go say something with no senses. Don't mind about it. Now, for this one, it would be the wheels. This one would be the base for the landing gear. This one would be for the bombs or the drop the droppable objects like the drop tanks or the auxiliary tanks, as some pilots would say. Since the Bf-109 has the... Well, there was some pictures I found on the internet of Bf-109s having auxiliary tanks on the wings, but I still remember the main ones are located on the aircraft's belly, like this one I'm pointing with the cursor. But for this case, I'm going to leave just B underline droppable, and this one will delete it. In case you don't know why this underline L or underline R, it's because when you work with symmetries for armatures, you need to separate each bone with the underline L or underline R. L is for left and R is for right. It's important when it comes to symmetry. Now, this one will be for the ailerons. With like this one, just hold on. Cursor to selected, and this one would be here. That's right, and this one would be for the wing flaps. This one here, the same thing, wing flaps, and now we adjust it here. I always keep doing this, not sure why. There we go. In case you want to animate your canopy hatch, for the Bf-109s, I'm aware they do this when they open. In this case, we insert the cursor right here, and we go back to the bone and keep offset. All right. There you go. In case you don't know which keyboard combinations I pressed on the keyboard, and tab, it changes between edit mode and object mode, while we press Control tab, we go on pose mode. Pose mode is when you work with poses. For example, if you are working on creating a 3D characters and you want that character to make that pose, then you select each bone and adjust it according to your specifications, as I can say. In case for this bone to the canopy hatch, go R for rotation and Y-axis. We leave it on this position if you want the canopy hatch to be open. Excuse me. But then back to the rigging procedures. Let's go on drop tanks. I did this drop tank for a while. We'll adjust it here. One moment. Now on the cursor. Alright, and we go here. Now for the ailerons, the rudder and the elevator. This one is for the rudder. We go here. And the elevators. There you go. But if you're quite unsure, then pause. Alright. Always pay attention when you're working on in your aircraft. Alright. Snap selection to cursor. There you go. Stop doing this. Now for this one, this will be a little tricky. Well, not much, but what I can do is here. And this one. For this one, I may just for a small no, I'm pretty sure I will delete this. In case you're in doubt, always do this. And this one will be for there you go. This will be the unlike some aircraft, this landing gear is not retractable. Just change it to rename it to Bf 109 Armature, and we go on this one to create a new collection. This will be Armature. Alright, and we do this. Let's see if there's other thing to change. And yeah, this one. This one will be duplicated. The bones for the flaps of the radiators. Just all done. Ah, that's right. Radiator inner flaps and inner flaps right. And this one we're going to duplicate it. And this one will put the parent, would set the parent to the radiator inner flaps. Same goes for this one, but instead of inner, this would be the outer. Same thing goes here for this little friend. Then you go. The idea is this flap to be moving with this one, while this wing flap moves in case of combat situations or landing. Now back to the wheels, and now we go on this one. For this one I'm going to rotate. What is the orientation? Sometimes I have my doubts on how mouse. Then I'm going to do this one. Well. Now I'm going to make a small, no, not this one. I need to be sure if the wheels are, if the bones for the wheels are adjusted to roll in perfect conditions, as I can say about it. But then this is pretty much the Bf 109 in its armature. And now for the last thing to do is attach the whole aircraft into the armature. In this case, we deselect the armature and we go wireframe. We hide the light, camera, and ground. Then, for example, this one here, and then we select this one. Control P, and you have these options to set setting parent of the whole objects, the whole aircraft into the armature. And we go on this one with armature deform with empty groups. You can go on envelope weights or automatic weights, but I prefer to use the empty groups. Now let's just wait until the program loads. Alright, the Bf 109 is rigged. Now we select Alt A, and now we cursor to World Origins, and now we start and attaching each aircraft part into the specific bone. Some artists on Blender artists goes with weight painting, but since the aircraft is not like a 3D character, we go on this option, the object data properties. Just a small verification. Make sure that the two bones has the underline R and the underline L without anything after the letter. Otherwise, it won't load the symmetry pretty well. Like for example, this one, we leave this dot 001 or 001. This bone will be only moving and the other one won't. So there you go. See? This is how symmetry works with bones. Be sure that your bones are correctly named. Now back here, we go, for example, the propeller base or spinner. We go edit mode, we select all the vertices, and we go the propeller. We select this group, the bones underline propeller, and we assign it. Once you assign it, the bone will spin, and along of it the spinner. If we go on pose mode, we press R and Y, it is spinning, but the propellers aren't spinning because they are not attached to the bone. Alright, back here. Select this one, and we go on propellers, and we do the same thing. And same thing for this one, the propeller base for the fans. And now we go on pose mode. There you go, the propeller spinning. Amazing, huh? As for the as for the other parts that may not move, like the ailerons, elevator, rudder, we attach to the main bone, which is the bone for the aircraft. Just make sure, yeah, this one. For this case, in this scenario, we select this one. We go on bone underline aircraft. Same goes for the wings, the pitot curve, the pitot curve tube, the cannons, the machine guns. Hold on. Make sure they are fully attached to it. The engine outlet shields and the engine exhaustion outlets. Just for a small demonstration, we go on pose mode and we press it. See, the aircraft is spinning. But there's one thing now with decals. One important thing I must advise you when you're going to rig an aircraft and you want that decals to follow that aircraft. The armature modifier must be in between the mirror and the shrink wrap. Why? Let me show you why it must be in between the mirror and shrink wrap. We go on this one, we select it, and we go on B aircraft, and this one here, this one, hold on, this one, and this one. So one important thing, why the armature modifier must be in between these two modifiers. We go on pose mode and we start moving the aircraft. Look, the decals will suffer, will deform out of the aircraft. If we rotate on y-axis, they will be floating out the aircraft. This is why you must set the armature modifier in between the mirror and the shrink wrap. Let me show you what will happens now. In case of this one, let's go here, 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 and here. Now back to pose mode of the Bf1 line. So this is what, see, now the decals are following the aircraft. nicely on y-axis, on x-axis, and z-axis. This is my important tip I have to give you in case you want to animate an aircraft or other vehicles. Alright, and now for this one, this would be for the ailerons. This one is the left. This one will be the wing flaps. This one will be the one important thing when you are working with working on 3D objects. Make sure the mirror is applied to this. Why? Because it would suffer some conflicts in between bones. This is why it is important you have an object fully made. In this case, we'll apply the bone here. And this mirror would be for this side of the radiators. Now we go on this one, we go on inner flap, and this one will be the outer flap. This one will be for the elevator, the rudder. Make sure they are working nicely. Alright, working nicely. They're working nicely, despite one side looks a little bit higher than the other. It's because of the roll from the bone. When you go to edit mode, the roll is this. I could say the fourth element in rotations. Sorry. This one for the flap. Same thing that happens on the ailerons. I need to learn new things in order to adjust the aircraft. And now for the other parts of the canopy. Now this one would be the canopy hatch. Since the seat and the armor, the headrest and the pillows were appended from the P-51 Mustang, there won't be a need to redo this. But this one would be important to read for the navigation lights. It is also important. What the? I just need to just hold on. we go clear post transform and right. I don't know if this small the small part from the armored red headrest would go with it will follow the canopy hatch, because I have little knowledge of the BF-109, so sorry for that. This one's just this one. In case another reason why the lazy mode is because when you have that armature, when you work with animations, better saying, in case you want to preserve the original's animations from that aircraft, or or some parts of the animation, you can use the original armature from previous projects, like from the P-51 Mustang. Although the P-51 Mustang and the Spitfire has the propeller spinning animation, but it would be for another moment. Now back here we go. This component, this one here. Make sure all parts are fully rigged. Now for the landing gear, I'm going to select this one, and where is the landing gear tail? Here, and this one here, same thing. Landing gear wheel, gear tail, and now the wheels. Make sure all the bones are fully rigged. The fairings will be remade after concluding the rigging section. Okay then. Make sure the tires and the wheels from the landing gear for the wings has the mirror applied. Otherwise, we're going to deal with bone with the dominant bones. Oops. In case you rigged wrong, you can remove the influence from that bone in order to correct some things. This one would be. There is this one, but I'm going to do something different. And this one here too. I'm going to do this. I'm going to hide it. And same goes here. And there is this little piece from since it has no much influence for animating, then it goes with the aircraft. And don't forget this one. And the balance mass. Now we go. Testing and Looking good. Looking good. The weather from where I'm living is changing a little, but it won't be relevant, as I can say about it. Landing gear is looking good and is looking nicely. Now for the wheels. Let's go. I need to adjust it in order to follow, to be rolling nicely. Due to the rolling, this one here, just take a look. This one is looking good. Now for the well done. In case you're asking why some bones are green while others are gray, if we go on the bone constraints properties, you can see they are using copy location and copy rotation. In case you want to work with some things, but you don't want to have that whole work, you can shorten paths with copy location, copy rotation. In case for the ailerons, you must invert all the axis alignments and keep sure they are using local space, and local space. Why? Don't ask me, because if you keep using in world space, you're going to deal with lot of work, and the big and painful ones. Just before concluding, I almost forgot the drop tanks and the pylons. Why do I have to? How could I forget it? All right, and now we go hide the drop tank and make sure all phones are fully rigged. Don't press A on all that. Right. And just concluded. The bombs. I almost forgot it. Yeah, I plan to make a mini game based on War Thunder. And here is generous. And there's other games with aircrafts, those aircraft simulations with World War II themes and World War One. If you want that aircraft to be to carry a droppable fuel tank or bombs, if you want to designate them as bombers, you must make sure they are fully rigged. Even the bombs. Lol. Well, the Bf-109 is looking good. They are fully rigged. Now we must make sure it is fully working nicely. Looking good so far. Looking good. And and looking good. Like Palpatine would say, good, good. Fulfill your destiny. Well, putting the jokes aside, the BF-109 is fully rigged. There are some bones that require some adjustments, like the bones for the wheels on the landing gear of the wings, ailerons, flaps, the I must adjust the reflector gun sight from the BF-109. It's using the one I made for the P-38 Lightning and appended for the P-51 Mustang. I must also make the navigation panel and what's the name of it? In Portuguese we call it manche. It's like a joystick, but it is not a joystick. It's a it's the control device for the aircraft. What's the name of it? The stick, as I could say about it. But then, it's looking good. BF-19 is technically ready, but there are some things I must adjust it. Post transforms. Sorry for that. Just let me take a look on it. Before concluding this video tutorial, I know it looked a little longer, but this is pretty much my best tip in how to rig an aircraft. Alright, so that's it for today, my friends. I hope you enjoyed this small tutorial on how to rig an aircraft, in this case the BF-109, to my working in progress, to my working series on YouTube. If you like this video, please thumbs up, it will help me. If you really enjoyed this video, please add it to your favorite playlists, that would help me a lot. Share it to your friends, because it will spread my work, and I hope I can help others that are working with 3D animations in how to animate and rig aircraft. And if you are new to the channel, please consider it. Please subscribe it and ring the bell button to receive new notifications on my channel. If you don't like this video, please tell me in the comments the reason for your dislike button. Then I could make it better. Alright, so that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed. I already say that, but that's it. What I can say about it. Well, that's it for today, my friends, and I'll be back with a new video. Alright? See you all next time!